My guest today was the little guy who set the record for the longest podcast in 2018, but yet again we find him here early in 2019. He's certainly a guy that has a lot to do and is a guy in the topics in Trackmania. But before we get into the Champions League and the Trackmania in general, I just want to say congrats for winning the Community Person of the Year, now twice in a row. How does that feel?
Well, hello NMD and hello everyone. Obviously that feels great. Feels great to see that everyone is supporting me and everything I've done since 2 years now on Trackmania, and it's always something I take and happy about.
Do you feel that you have the support of the community? I've said many times now that you are sort of the front person for bringing this game forward, and by the looks of the votes, it seems like you have the community in the back. Do you feel the support from the community once you launch a new project and once you do the work you do?
Well, that's a tricky question because expect from the last event, which is Champions League, community always supported me from the Pro League to the from the XS team competition, then to a Pro League, and then the switch to World Cup. They've always been here and supporting what I've created. The players, the streamers, even just the community members giving some feedbacks and things that could be improved on the competitions. So yeah, definitely like always here. And I've said it many times, without them and without the fact that they were here to watch the competition and play it or stream it in any way, well, this is definitely a reason of the success of the World Cup, for instance.
You talk about the newest event, you are in charge of the TrackMania Champions League. But before we get into the sort of topic of today, can you take us back when you first had the idea or when you first were approached by Ubisoft Nadeo to get an event and to move in a different direction than the Trackmania World Championship?
Well, after the World Cup, they watched it. They were here at the Paris Games Week. They asked me if I had time to get a meeting with them at their headquarters. So I said yes, and the plan were the first idea I had to go there was to kind of summarize the World Cup and the Pro League, the pro and cons and everything, and maybe explain if I had a new project in mind for the next year. And that was it. I contacted a lot of players, saying to them that I had a meeting planned with Nadeo, and the plan I had for them for the game. And many people know that the plan was to keep up the World Championship, maybe improve the Trackmania esport on Europe and not only in France, by having multiple lands on different countries. And that was the idea, having a new world, or at least Europe pro scene with great amount of lands and offline events. But still, when I did go there and had a discussion, they had already something in mind. I've exposed my project and the idea I had, and they then exposed the idea that they had something in mind, a league, and then I had a choice to do. Else I still work on my league, which will have been the World Championship, and they do their league, and we just divide the community into two things, or I just work with them and try to kind of unite both sides, which are Nadeo's and the community. And I decided to take the easy choice, and which was at the time and still now the idea I had to make Trackmania to actually put Trackmania at the top again. So I decided to work with them on their league and yeah, not dividing the two communities. I could have actually taken the choice of keeping my ID and working alone on my IDs and keeping staying stuck to what we've been trying for 15 years and not having Ubisoft supporting us and everything, or try to again unite the community and Nadeo and everyone through the Champions League, and then maybe once that is done, Ubisoft will or would have invested money on it, and maybe we could have seen Trackmania becoming again a huge esport game. And so yeah, I mean, looking at both plans, I've just taken the choice which was the right for me. I think that it was the right choice, and I simply took it. So yeah, Dave. Then when I decided to take that, we've come up they've come up with the actual ID and what was in plan. So that's there where we decided kinda the name, the format as well. The format was I don't think it was like already planned when I came there, but they simply it was actually Hillis who thought about the format, and I was like, well, I'm not a big fan of laps, and obviously after seeing the World Championship final, I was like, I think the Cup mode is still the best one if we want to get Trackmania at the top. But then I was like, okay, let's try. I mean, we had rounds for a lot of time. Then we switched on the Cup. Why not try something else and see if it works? So then we started to think about the lap format, and then the Champions format, which the basic idea was how to keep the spectators until the end. And then Hylis came up with that thing where you can lose your point until the end, and so that nothing is played until the last map or the last minutes. So yeah, that was kind of it. Obviously, we talked about many things, and especially the economical aspect of why my project and my ideas were not viable economically. The idea was great, but this wouldn't have it would have been really bad economically, especially because we are not going to expand the player base through that, or even the spectators, because it was too much expert based, and I get that point, and I accepted it, and that's why I accepted to work with them on Champions League.
Okay, so let's just clarify one thing, because I feel like there's a misunderstanding in the community. This is more of an idea and the base of an idea from Nadeo, and you help them out with that idea, instead of you coming to them with an idea and then they helping you with that idea. The foundation of this idea is starting from their side, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Can you tell us who is in charge of this? Let's say there's a group of people. Can you say who is it? We know that you are there, and we know that Hillis is there. Is there any notable names that we should know is there and taking part in this?
There is something I want to say about that, and there has been one person especially who has been helping me for since the start, Excess Team Cup, and Pro League and World Cup. It's I think her name in game is Pepita, but that person is everything. She literally done everything at Nadeo to help me to make things happen. She was the one where I asked if we could maybe have Paris Games Week, and she tried her best to get it, and we actually get it. So she's probably the reason of why my events were supported by Nadeo, at least one of the precursors. But yeah, there is many people that are working on this project. Hillis is obviously like deciding, the deciding guy, seeing if everything is going great and everything. At the end, he's just the CEO of Nadeo, so that's normal. Then we have Pepita, still again, kinda organizing everything, putting in contact everyone so that everyone knows everyone and actually work together. And there's many people at Nadeo working on it, developers, web developers as well, in-game developers. So yeah, there is many groups that are working on this project because it's an Nadeo project, and they've put a group of people on it. And beside myself, there is as well ZQSD. So the people that know Zerator Cup probably know that name. They are the one working on the communication for the Champions League, and they were the one, and still they will still organize the Zerator Cup. But yeah, those guys were working on the Zerator Cups since I don't know which one, but the last one was at least from them. So yeah, they're working as well on that project for the communication and everything. So yeah, Nadeo is kind of working for the technical things, the in-game, the format and everything. ZQSD is working on the communication and everything related to that, and I'm the one handling the players and organizing the actual thing on Sundays and kinda having that community aspect.
Okay, can you tell us why this format is actually the one that Trackmania needs? You say that this is easier maps. Is a format that players who watch, like myself, I can watch now a Trackmania Champions League match, and I can probably drive the map and then be closer to the best times rather than I would be at the Trackmania Champions League. Is that the essential of why we ended up with this format, that the viewers are gonna somewhat be able to drive consistently and feel somewhat good on the maps that is being played and showed on the stream?
Well, there is two things. There is the actual format and the maps. The format itself, we actually think, and I actually think that we have something new and something which is not that bad and actually good. Why is it good? Because we are not having like the cup mode. Like if we do, because we have to think the fact that we had to think that it was a league. We wanted to do a league, and they wanted to do a league, so we cannot have a cup mode where we play every weekends or every 2 weekends 100 matches with like so many different players, and so that the spectators, we had to think about the fact that the spectators should be able to watch every single match. And the problem with the cup mode and the project I actually had, it was that how to say that it was kind of too long to watch, because it would have taken a whole weekend to watch, and you cannot ask that to someone who doesn't watch Trackmania. If he comes, he comes to watch maybe 1 hour or 2 hours, and then he just leave. And we, like with the cup mode and the project I had, a guy who's just coming for 1 hour or two, he's just gonna be lost and he's not gonna still watch it again. So we decided to lap mode was actually the easiest choice, because it's something where you can just have multiple steps of like 1 hour or 2 hours, and then just do it again 2 weeks later. There's no actual link between the laps mode. Where the cup mode, you have to do a whole bracket from A to Z, and So yeah, the huge problem of the cup mode was that it was kind of too long to organize and to watch. So we decided to use the lab format. And again, like I said just earlier, why the champion format? Because labs may be a bit boring. We get that. And how you make it actually interesting and watchable until the end? Well, you put that rule of losing points, and so that someone who maybe have won the four first races, well, if he fails on the last one or played bad or fell under the pressure, well, he can basically lose everything, and so that nothing is played until the end, and the spectators is actually interested until the end. And so that's why we actually, and well, I didn't think about it. It's actually completely Nadeo, and I accepted it because I actually think that it's a fine format, and the idea behind it is actually great. About the maps, I think we'll talk about that a bit later. But quickly, a lot of people are judging the whole Champions League only about the first map pack we've done, and I get that. I know that, and I know that for like since 3 years working on events, how TM community can be harsh. They criticized a lot of things on the Pro League, the World Cup, and everything, and they always want to have that communication. And I gave them that communication, and I understand that releasing that map pack and not having any communication behind it, that was the reaction we had to get, and it was a great reaction. But again, let's keep that subject later. But yeah, about the format, I think it's something that is like good, seeing the ideas, the things behind it.
But many people have questioned the format because of 8 people losing the points if they finish behind 9 to 16. Have you suggested to make it, let's say, 12 to 16, so it's less punishing and less, let's say, you will be less punished for a mistake?
Well, same as everything. It's a beta, so everything can change. If you feel that, basically, when I saw the rules and the fact that players could lose everything, I was like, that's too punishing. The players will just like get angry about it, and they will leave the competition directly. And I said that to Nadeo, and I said, well, the solution is maybe to just lose 50% or lose less points. And they answered the same way I will answer to that question. It's a beta season. If we see that on the first step that it's too punishing, well, then let's try something else. For now, we are just basing those things on nothing. We haven't seen a single step. So yeah, I mean, we can judge about the format and the maps and everything after the step 1. But for now, I don't see any reasons to criticize or saying that it's too punishing, because we haven't watched it actually. So yeah, that's the answer.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But let's go back to the TrackMania Champions League. You said that now that the format for the Pro League is too long and it takes too long to watch the matches. I guess that's understandable, because I myself, who is let's say a hardcore TrackMania fan, had a hard time watching every match, and I can understand that the average guy has even harder time than to put time into TrackMania. But would you say that after, I mean, TrackMania World Championship, I was there myself, and I know what I felt there and what I saw. You were the actual guy behind it. You must have felt something special when that event was taking place. Are the tech scene, let's say, quote-unquote, dead? Or are this event just gonna be a side to TrackMania like Dirt and Full Speed is, and the TrackMania tech scene will still go on in LAN events such as the TrackMania World Championship was?
Well, obviously when I took the decision to join the Nadeo project uh, and leaving the World Championship, it was hard. It was really hard because I've put so much work every single day on the Pro League and the World Cup. It was my project from the start to the end. Obviously, had the help of Scary, Pakes, and everyone, but at the end, it was like seeing it happening at the Paris Games. So you can seeing so many people watching it and having those emotions. Well, if you can talk about your emotions, you can just multiply them by 1,000 for mine. And I think every player saw that the emotion I had after the final. It was amazing. It's like I cannot even describe it. It was like the feelings was like just incredible. And obviously, if someone has to maybe get mad about the Champions League and the maps, it will be actually me. Because I've left a project like Pro League where I was working literally 4 hours a day kinda at some point. When for instance the last season we had to, I had the crazy idea now when I think about it of having matches every single day, and I had to be there every single day, not missing a single day. That was crazy, and that was like exhausting at some point. But again, I've made the choice. I don't regret it at all, and I still think that it's the best thing to do. But about the tech scene, let's talk as well about the man versus man, since we are just doing it right after.
Yeah, sure, bring it up.
Because it's actually the last tech event. The last tech event, not the last one, but the last in
yeah, the most recent one.
Yeah. I won't take the decision. I'm not the one to decide if the tech scene is dead. Obviously, if someone wants to host a tech event, they can, and they can keep the tech scene alive. But for myself, and in my mind, and in the mind of maybe some players already in the Champions League, tech is not the future. That's something I can say. And again, it's in my mind. If someone believes that it's actually the future, well, I cannot force them to think otherwise. But if you want my opinion on that, tech scene is kinda dead, because it has been something for 15 years, and well, it never actually worked. Many reasons to that. You could say that Nadeo didn't put money on it, or as much money that they could, or Ubisoft never helped and everything. But I just want to say something. Just stop living in the past and let's try to move forward and try new things that maybe work and that will maybe get Ubisoft investing money on the game. There will always be, for example, the gaming interface. Well, the cash prize and the fact that same for Gamers Assembly, both of those events, the cash prize come from Nadeo. So there is approximately 500,000 euros invested on the cash prize on both events. And the fact that those events have actually Trackmania, that's because of Nadeo. So Nadeo does not stop to support events, and we never stop to support community events or offline events. But there is one thing I've said already to the qualified players. I think that everyone will get at some point that sooner or later that tech or dirt or full speed itself will never be a thing. And at some point, if you want to become if you want to become a professional player on Trackmania, well, tech is not gonna be the way. And some people get the chat, for example, of the Man vs Man. I get the thing of like, again, we'll talk about later, but I get the thing of this is not too complicated and everything, but that's because we kind of still want to live in the past, and we don't want to let the tech scene go. And because there has been so many good things. I'm not the oldest guy on the scene, but I get the fact that some of them had has been on the tech scene for 10 plus 10 years, and they want to stick to that, and they want that to evolve. But something I can say is that tech will never be probably. I won't say it like never, but probably tech will never be the esport on Trackmania as dirt, as full speed. Maybe maybe it can be and it will be probably the maps. Just hear that, and the maps that are actually on the Champions League, that will never be esport as well. We get the fact that it was not good, and then we won't do that again, and that's not gonna be esport. What's gonna be esport on Trackmania is something we'll discover maybe in the next 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. It probably maybe be the weekly maps styles, the mixed maps, but we tried tech. It's not gonna be the thing. We try as we tried those maps, and those maps will never be esport on Trackmania. But yeah, you can still, and just if you don't believe in Hylis and Adeo and that tech will never evolve, well, I've just put two of my last years on tech and making tech great again, and put it tech at the top again, and I even accept it myself. So, I mean, everyone could accept it. I know it will be hard for like the guys who has been there for like 10 years and not even, because when I see Spam or Carl Jr. saying that, like even Carl Jr. said yesterday that he was bored of tech. He wants it to end. We played that for like 15 years, literally. And we tried it for 15 years. So let's try something new and bring some fresh looks to Trackmania. And yeah, the tech scene is never dead as long as someone still believes that tech may be something good. But Nadeo and Ubisoft won't like invest as much money on tech events as on the Champions League for now, and you can understand that. But yeah, I'm not gonna say that tech scene is dead. You can do whatever with tech, with dirt and full speed, but I don't think it's gonna be the future of Trackmania on eSport.
Okay, so yeah, I guess you make a fair point there. If the argument that you have done this for 10 years, I don't want to change, that is the reason why I don't want to try something new, then I guess that person have a wrong mindset. But I do feel like the community in general, or at least the people I have spoken to, they have a question with this easier to understand statement. Is tech and Trackmania in general hard to understand? I mean, I have said the example, 2 or 3 times already, that during the Christmas I showed why I traveled to Paris, why I used money from my own pocket to actually go and watch other people play, and they understood what car racing was like from start to finish. Is Trackmania really hard to understand, or is it simply that there's a new style that wants to be bring to the table? Because in my view, but I might be wrong, Trackmania is not a hard game to understand.
It's obviously not a hard game to understand, and obviously there is only a start and a finish, and something between both of them. That's an easy explanation. But if you go deeper than that, you could say that, for instance, on the World Cup, and obviously some people might say that the World Cups are an extreme of the tech maps, but If you look at the grand final of the World Cup maps were actually probably the best maps to have the greatest show on the tech event. Everyone kind of agree on the fact that the World Cup final was probably the best match we ever had on Trackmania, and the maps obviously were from for something. But again, yeah, obviously, when you look at the World Cup maps, well, there is a start, a finish, and drift between them. That's easy. Everyone can get that. But that's not the point. The point is that since we forget about cut mode, because it's actually like you have to take it step by step and think, okay, we forget about the cup mode because it's too long and we cannot get new viewers with that because people cannot watch every single match. So we are on the champions format. It's a lap mode. You don't have like, I get the fact that some people just take part by part and say, well, take maps are easy to understand. Yeah, but are they actually easy, or are they actually the best choice on a mod lap? Because we're actually on a lap mode. That's the thing. We cannot like do on a lap mode what we are doing on the cup mode. And so yeah, if you take it part by part, I get the questions and the reactions. But if you take it as a global thing, while we have a mod lab with a new rules, rule book and everything, well, what can we do to actually keep the spectator? And I've released the criteria of the maps today on the Discord, and there is something which is actually important, is that if we do those tech maps on a lap mode during 10 minutes or everything, well, we have the example, the Mod Lab Championship, which was hosted a long time ago. That event was actually great, and it was actually really enjoyable to watch, and that's why like that was the idea of the maps for the qualifications. For instance, the dynamic or Riziko was based on Mod Lab Championship, and yeah, that's great to watch. That's understandable because it's only drift and easy to understand. But again, do we want actually to only have drift on the maps? Like, is that actually the best player of the game who's like only about drift? Cannot we add some new things, maybe mix things, and having dirt on a map and everything? And that's why we came up with like those maps, and why we are not sticking to tech, because I think that this is the time where we have to have more diversity on the maps, especially, and where people can watch something else than only drift during 10 minutes. They actually can see different things. They can have insane parts. Well, we call them memorable moments. But like at least having one part where they watch and they are like, okay, they are coming to that part. That's the risky part. So everyone can fail here. If he fails, he loses all his points and everything. So yeah, the maps and the format, if you take it like part by part, I get it that it's maybe stupid. But if you combine both of them, there is maybe something to understand. I won't force anyone to understand what I'm saying right now, and I get that maybe that the choice was to stick to tech and cup mode, or just do the lap mode on tech maps and everything. But tech maps are not hard to understand. But are they the best choice? No, at least not for me. I think we can do really better than that. But yeah, I agree, the tech maps are completely easy to understand. You have a start, you have drift, and you have a finish. I mean, that's not hard.
I guess what you are referring to is a sport I'm fan of, mixed martial arts. I don't know how many people knows about it, but it's basically a combination of all fighting sports: boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, and such. And the fun thing about that is that it's multiple styles mixed together. But so far in the, let's say, the multi-laps at the Champions League, we mainly see tech. Will there be more styles such as full speed and dirt, so we can say that the winner of the Champions League is actually the guy in Trackmania who handles the most environments the best? Or will it still be more of a tech focus and the main part will still be road?
Okay, so we are going onto the map.
Let's talk about the maps.
Like I said before, those maps are not what Champions League will be. Those maps are a starting point. Champions League is a beta season. Beta literally means that everything will maybe change, and including the maps, including the format, including the rules, including everything. Maybe in 6 months after the beta season, it's literally not going to be the same competitions at all. We don't know. We wanted to try something new, but something that we don't know anything about. It's something that is unknown, and we have to test things and see if they are like the good recipe for Trackmania eSport. So about the maps, I agree. Those maps are like you can insert those maps if you want. You can like literally do everything. But they are like the good thing is that it's a starting point. You have that memorable moment, for instance, on each map, and even the players agreed on that. When someone who never watched a Trackmania event, for instance, let's take the map Eurosky. You have the last downhill with like holes, like you have 10 holes and everything, and seeing good players on that will be insane. And I'm pretty sure of that. If we have like a lot of good players on that, that part will be insane, and people will actually like be hyped about it. And you don't have that kind of in the tech maps, and that's why I talked about mixed maps. I agree that those maps are not like literally not mixed. You have most of the parts are tech. You don't have tech dirt. Well, you have one map which is actually dirt. Not the greatest dirt, I agree, but there is dirt. You have some obstacles which could be defined as RPG. You don't have full speed, obviously. Maybe that will come with the time, and maybe if we will try full speed, that's for sure. And if people actually likes watching full speed, well, we'll just keep full speed. If they like watching dirt, well, we'll just keep dirt. Again, we'll test everything. But we could have like I say a lot. We could have started with like complete take maps, and everyone will be happy on the community. Everyone will have played. Everyone will have tried the qualification. We will have like 500 players. But we decided like to go like let's just put those maps, and we'll probably get hated for that. But I think that was a great choice to do, because now people are are ready to see those kind of maps, and it's not coming like in the 5 next months. Like we start with tech, then we add some dirt, then we rather just start with something completely different, and they maybe adjust it, and there will be a lot of adjustments on those maps. And maybe that the good recipe will be to have like weekly maps. And if you want me to be honest, like the maps that are coming for step 2, we are removing 2 maps after each steps. Well, those will be kind of weekly maps. So we'll try and see the reaction from the actual viewers that are not watching Trackmania. Obviously, if you are someone who watches Trackmania every single day, you are like, those maps are shit. Nobody will enjoy that. And when I see in the chat saying that tech is understandable, I understand that map, or people do not understand those maps. I mean, who are we to judge? I'm not even able to judge what someone who never watched Trackmania can enjoy on Trackmania. So that's actually stupid to say that that is not understandable, or that is easy to understand, or anything. Obviously, everything is easy to understand for us because we know Trackmania and this is our game. But someone who never watched Trackmania, well, we don't know. We never actually tried to get those people, and maybe that the pure tech is the easiest thing to understand, but we don't know. We have to test, and that's why it's a beta season, and that's why you have to keep in mind the world beta, because we have 6 months to test what's good for new people to watch. And if it's tech, well, we'll just go back to tech. But we actually don't think it's tech, and that's why we started with those maps. If it's weeklies, well, we'll see on step 2. We'll try 2 maps, 2 weeklies maps on step 2 and see the reaction. And if they don't like it, well, we'll try something new again. I mean, we have 10 steps to try everything we want. And so you have to understand that. And once you get that, maybe you can get why we are trying those things and why it's maybe really bad. It's actually really bad. And well, we couldn't have known that, and we don't know yet. Maybe the spectators will enjoy those maps, and that's a fact. If they actually enjoy those maps, well, that's the future of esport, because those people are actually what will make Trackmania bigger again. And we cannot just please the community and say, okay, well, what the community wants and just do whatever they want, because if we just stay on the community, we'll never evolve, and Trackmania will still be at 500, 1,000 viewers on each competition. And we actually think better than that, and Nadeo think better than that, and they want to have 100k viewers on a Trackmania competition. And how we do that? Well, we get new viewers. And how we please them? Well, we try things on them, and we see what they like. And if we find it, well, we just apply it every single time until on the next 5-6 years. And then Trackmania will have a huge base of viewers, and then Trackmania will be full of professional players, professional casters, professional everything. And we will finally get what we want, because at the end, I think even those people who just say Champions League is bullshit, that's not esport and everything, I think that those people who are actually insulting and trying in the bad way to judge the competition, I truly think that they want to see Trackmania at the top, and just think that Nadeo is here to help. They won't get anything from doing an event that won't work, because that's their game and that's how they live. And esport is a huge way to making Nadeo evolve, and they put a lot of things on that competition, and everyone wants to see Trackmania succeed on the esport scene. And we just, like I said on the Discord, we are just all allies, and we have to work together to put that game again at the top. And I truly think that we can do it, but like just criticizing every single things when something is new, that's not the good way, and that will just ruin everything. And if Ubisoft come on a Trackmania chat and see, okay, well, Champions League is complete bullshit, that's not esport, the way Nadeo thinks is shit, I mean, that's not gonna help. And it's like I mean, it's like everything. They will see that the community is not like responding to what we are doing, and they will like, well, why would we invest on something where the community is not just against it? And yeah, I mean, we just have to think more than just for ourselves, and see maybe see Trackmania in the next 4 or 5 years. And for that, we need to have something new than just tech and the maps we used to have.
Before you talk about criticism, and I guess the slots and how they were given got some criticism, I was one of them who spoke up about the slots situation. Can you tell how you ended up with the slots for each region? Was there a idea behind it, or was it just as a beta system, test it out and then see what happens, or was this actually something that you had planned out and had a system behind?
Well, the slot repartition was done by myself and myself only. Nadio obviously accepted it, but they just accepted the repartition I've made. So about that, I get the fact that we could have get 5 spots to France, 5 spots to Germany, and then have the 16 best players on the game. But then again, is that what we want? Is that the way to improve Trackmania esports scene? I would say no. Why? Well, because the idea of Champions League, and again, it's something that maybe we haven't communicated on, and that's our fault. That's not maybe, but it's our fault. We should have maybe communicate more on that. The idea is to not only to get those new viewers, but to make them watch it every single time. And how you do that? Well, one solution to that is to have something from their country, someone that they could support every single week, and they could say, okay, well, on Sunday I have my players from my country playing against players all over Europe or all over the world, and I'm gonna support him. I'm here to support him. And bringing that kind of national aspect is definitely something that makes people watch it again. Even if they don't like the game, let's take, for example, football or any other sports. While people on the World Cup, they are like, well, I don't like football, but I actually support my country because there is that national aspect and kind of patriotism thing, and that's what we want to reproduce on Trackmania. And I truly think that's the good way, because we are lucky. We have a lot of players from a lot of different countries and a lot of good players actually. So that slot repartition was like, okay, I know that, for example, in Spain, Portugal, Italy, we won't have a lot of players registering or playing, and we don't have a lot of good players. But if we take one player from one of those countries, and we have, for example, now we have this burst qualified, and we have Portuguese viewers watching the competition, they will be like, okay, let's go the burst, and they will just support him over the whole league. And if we actually had five people from France, 5 people from Germany, what would be the point? Okay, well, and more slots you have, more harder you can identify yourself to one player. So that's why, for instance, why Germany had only 2 spots, or France 3, or why we actually put 1 spot to countries who actually seems bad on the paper. I still think that this burst or other players can do something on that event, because everything is possible. But yeah, the idea was, okay, as long as there is one good player on one region, I will put it on the slot repartition. And at the end, you watch at the slot repartition, and you see that everything was made so that as long as there is one good player, there is 1 spot to get. And I had to make a choice. I just put I put 1 slot to everyone, and then I had like 5 slots which were left to no one, and I had to make a choice. And obviously France has the larger player base. Then we have Germany, and then we had Benelux, and then it was the last one was Czech Republic. At the end, I decided to remove 1 slot to Czech Republic and add it to South America, but it seems that not many players wanted to play from that region, so just put it back to Czech Republic and Slovakia. But yeah, that was the reasoning behind the slot repartition.
Okay, so I get some people asking me about the reason by the slots, and there are some rumors, and I guess that's a problem getting started because you are a leader for Gamers Origin. Like, of course, he puts 3 slots in France because he has 3 players from France. Of course, he puts 1 slot in UK because he has a player in UK. And the same goes back to now that Team Sampi got 2 slots. People say that Team Sampi, they pressured softyB into giving them an extra slot so they can get both of those players in. I can ask you first, part about being Gamers Origin's admin as well. Do you see any problems by having 2 roles? You have to be sort of the tournament representative and as well be in charge of your players, who by many considers to be one of the favorites for these events. Now do you have 3 players qualified, Pac, Cap, and Papu?
Obviously, I get the aspect of it, and I get that at some point it will bring some problems. And I think at some point I must take a decision, even though I don't want to make a decision like that, because both of those roles I actually enjoy to do. But I think at some point I will have to do it. And I get why those people might say that why did you put one slot to UK and not adding 1 slot to Germany, or putting UK in another region? Well, that would be the same if, like, I had, for example, one insane player from Spain. I knew that there wouldn't be a lot of people playing it, and I knew that, for example, in UK there was only Pac. But do you want really to like? Are you actually questioning the fact that Pac couldn't qualify by himself? I mean, that's the same thing in France. Papu, Brand, and Cap had actually the best times of all qualifications. Do you actually question the fact that they don't deserve to qualify because they are Gamers Origin and they are my players? Well, they are the ones that deserve to qualify, and as Massa did, deserved it because he drove well, or Onio, or many other people. But there was slots to put, and especially on France, I don't get the fact that you people question that, because look at the registrations. You had 55 players registered in France. That was almost 50% of the total of registrations. How can you not accept the fact that I've put 3 slots in France because they had more than 50% of registrations? Germany, I get it. Okay, well, there was like 20 people, only 2 slots. 5 people could have qualified to that region. Well, obviously, I mean, there is better players in Germany than in the other regions. But again, that's not what we want, and you cannot. Like, I can get the fact that there might be a problem of me having 2 roles, and that maybe I'm helping more my players than the others. But when it comes actually from people that are outside of the competition, and when I see that inside the competition people actually don't say that and don't think even about that, I'm like, well, maybe that's like their problem. Pac deserved his qualifications as Papu, as Cap, and as everyone in those 16 slots. And saying that that player, or I'm better than this player, or I'm better than 50% of those players, that won't help. It's not because you are better than those players that you would get 1 slot. There is a reason to behind that slot repartition, and you have to accept it. That's the rules. You don't have anything to say about that, at least for now. Obviously, the slot repartition. Nothing says that it's not gonna be 32 slots on the season 1, or that maybe we'll have two divisions. But on the beta, it was 16 slots. You had to train to get the slots you had. You didn't make it. Well, I cannot do that I cannot do anything to help you. And saying that I'm maybe helping my players to qualify, I'm gonna say it's bullshit, because they would have qualified no matter what. Saying that I gave 2 spots to Czech Republic, and saying that Sempi pressured me in any way was bullshit as well, because it was actually the plan before everything. And like everyone said, I had like 1 spot left, and I was like, well, Czech Republic has only 1 slot, and they had 2 great players who made top 1 and top 2 at the last World Champ. And where would I put that slot then? 3 slots to Germany? Well, they have already 2 slots. Adding 1 spot to France, they have already 3 spots. So I had to add 1 spot to a region who had only 1 spot. And the best one at the end was the Czech Republic and Slovakia. And that's why they get 2 slots. And saying that Sempi pressured me in any way, well, if someone from South America would have qualified and be motivated, well, those 2 slots would have never existed.
And I guess people who actually know about the scene in Trackmania, they know that we need a guy like you who has multiple jobs, because if you lose an organization like Gamers Origin, then probably the game is losing because of that, and the same in being an admin. But the last thing about the qualifiers that I want to bring up is that there were, for a long time, I knew that there were rumors already from the World Championship that you were working on something, and then until like there was announced that there was going to be announced something, and then when an actual announcements come, it's 1 week for people to train, and some people missed out because they didn't have planned to set that weekend free. Why? What was the reason why actually announcing something, then giving people just 1 weekend to train, and then it's for such a long season? If you miss it out, you're basically out of the biggest competition that lasts for 6 months.
Well, the reason is quite easy. Nothing was not everything was ready before that announcement. We made the announcement as soon as possible, and we had the dates for the steps already settled. So we had to do as fast as we can. And of course, if I could have announced it like 2 or 3 weeks behind that date, I would have done it. But not everything was ready, and yeah, that's it. I mean, that's quite easy answer.
And the second part of that question, is there a reason why this beta season is so long? And because you want to test stuff, isn't it possible to just test stuff over a shorter period where you test the 10 steps? Or is there a reason why this season is such a long process?
Because the actual dates that we have on the beta season, that's the plan of season 1. A season will last at least 4 or 5 months. So, and the fact that if we could have done 10 steps in 1 month or in 2 months, but then we wouldn't have get different opinions and different viewers. Maybe some viewers will watch the Champions League in May or in April, or maybe like the first step. And that's the thing. That's better to have, to take the time. I know that time is something that Trackmania players does not have, because it has been 10 years of waiting, Nadeo. And again, I spoke with many players, and I just said, I know that it's long and it's again waiting, but those 6 months that we'll have, they will finally get something. We will finally get something from that, and just wait 6 months so we get everything ready for the season 1, and you'll see how season 1 will be the best Trackmania event we ever had since 15 years. So obviously, it's a lot of time. It's almost five months of playing. But again, it's 1 hour 30 of playing each two Sundays. So it's kinda it's really easy to put with studies and everything. So the excuse of not having time to play it, again, that's not a good reason, because it's taking nothing compared to what Pro League was. Obviously, there was training. There is training to take in count. But again, you have 2 weeks to train the two new maps after each step. So it's quite actually great. It's actually not hard to train and to play. So, and that's the plan of Champions League. on this beta season. It's like we know that we don't have professional players, so we've tried our best to allow players to have something else from their Trackmania driving, and that's why it's maybe a bit too long, because we actually want players to have time to train beside their studies or their work, and so that they have some free time as well.
You talk about the long season and this being sort of a simulation, or what the season 1 will look like. Will this season have a playoff? Where will it be? And will it be like the TrackMania Champions League, where there are some qualifiers to qualify just for that playoff in case you missed out on playing in the season? And I guess the biggest question that people want an answer to, and we spoke about this before, but is there going to be a prize in the season and the playoffs if that takes place?
That's something that a lot of players complain about, not knowing if there will be something to win on the beta season. Obviously, we said that there will be something to win and to play for. We don't want players to be like people that are just testing for everyone else and get nothing from it. There will be a cash prize, a good one, I guess. And it will be announced really soon. And there will probably be an offline event for the playoffs as well, for the beta season, not for the season 1. But everything is actually in discussion right now, so it will be announced really soon. Just have to wait a little bit more. But the players that are playing the beta season will be rewarded, all of them, not only the top 8, or everyone will have something from that beta season. It can be money or everything else. But yeah, like, they are not just playing for the fun, obviously. And we get, like, even Nadeo get the point that money is like helping the motivation and the training behind for the players. Even though we don't want, and that's why we didn't actually communicate too much on it. We don't want to base the competition on the money. We want to keep that aspect on the players, that they are playing for the passion of the game and for the love of the game, and then reward them with money, actual money. But we don't want to have things like on Fortnite, or which is actually happening maybe on Fortnite, not for everyone, but where we just put 100k of cash prize and players are just here for the money. And then there was an actual good reason to that. Imagine if we have put like 100k cash prize on that beta season, or on season 1, and change the rules every single week, put those kind of maps. Imagine the reaction of the players. You have 100k to win, and the rules changes every single day. Obviously, we don't want that, and that's why we didn't communicate on the money or the rewards or the playoffs. But there will be something to win, and it's gonna be actually better than most of the competitions we had before. But yeah, like we and I completely agree that we cannot force the players to play only for the fun or the love of the game. There is players that put time behind it, and that time must be rewarded, and it will be on the beta season and all the other seasons.
Okay, so I made this point that I believe that overall this is a good event, and we are happy that actually Ubisoft and Nadeo is coming in and sponsoring an event. And the reason for that is because I believe that the marketing and the powers behind a company like Ubisoft is way bigger than a community can reach. Of course, we can tell our friends about the game, we can send some links, but if a company provides the correct marketing and provides the correct, let's say, information out there, they will bring a broader audience in here. When can we actually see some effects of the marketing and the Ubisoft part of this project, in case, or compared to, let's say, other events you have hosted?
Talking about Ubisoft, they won't get involved a lot on the beta season because we have to get they have to get an idea of what the competition is, and if we don't have any preview of it, it will be harder for them to accept to invest money on it. So this beta season is kind of the test and the thing that we can show to Ubisoft. So they won't be a part of an actual part of the competition and of the beta season. They will actually maybe be there for season 1 or the next season. So we won't see them on the beta season, but Nadeo is gonna support it and support it a lot through financial aspects, in-game aspects, technical things, and everything. There will be a lot of money involved in this beta season and the next season because that's how it works. Obviously, you invest money to get things, and it will be announced really soon. The different things that will be done by Nadeo and to get new viewers or to reach a new public, more than just saying to our friends or family to watch it. And obviously there is money involved in it, and that's something that we are working on. And obviously we are not like stupid to say that the viewers will come by themselves. It won't. It never does. And there will be some things put from Nadeo to get those new viewers to watch the Champions League.
There was a topic of discussion before this event. I got it at least when I made a statement that the Czech Republic should have 2 slots because they had the top 2, and then people say that okay, you cannot draw a straight conclusion from tech events to this type of events. If you are to look at the 16 champions now, is there any players sticking out or players that you see as the guys who will battle it out for the title and winning the beta season?
Well, I wouldn't say that there is no link from tech scene and the players that have qualified, because actually most of the players, I would say, except maybe, I think Rollin is only the only one who's not been playing tech. All others are actual tech players from like far or close. And yeah, so there is obviously a link, and the reason of for example, when you say that Czech Republic and Slovakia deserve 2 spots because they had 2 players in the World Champ, making it top 2 and top 1. Well, that's a valid reason, because a good tech player can be good on mix as well. This is what we are seeing, and we will see over the beta season. About whom maybe can take the win, I would say Bren is the big favorite, because he's simply like insane on whatever he plays on Trackmania. Obviously we have Carl, who can be good on that. I can say Scrappy is showing some great potential as well. Pac can do it. Papu, Cap, obviously from if I like taking the Gamers Origin role, I can say that they can do something and surprise people. But on the outsiders, I would say Dexter showed some great things as well. I was surprised seeing him playing really well on those type of maps, and endurance. Rollin, obviously great Nadeo player, and he can do it as well. But I guess like everyone can show some great potential over time, because the maps are not the ones that have been played the last years. So it's something new, and maybe a player that is not expected. For instance, Dunsty or Spurs can show some great things, and maybe, who knows, get to the playoffs.
Okay, let me ask you this as a manager of Gamers Origin. I had one favorite going into this, or one of the favorites was your guy Aurel. How does it feel to seeing him not making it? For me, he was maybe the biggest favorite, if not one of the biggest.
It was hard, and it's still hard today, for him, for me, for a lot of people. but yeah, we have to accept it. We knew, and I knew that Bren was gonna take a spot, no matter what. We could have played our best game. Bren will have been in the top 3, and that was a fact. And someone had from us had to not qualify. Obviously, I was not expecting Oral, to be honest. I was expecting not really Cap to not making it, and he was actually the best one from the team on the qualification. So always surprised from Cap. This guy is just insane. But yeah, it feels actually hard for Oral. It's something that he knew he could have performed on and even challenged for the title. And if someone can regret the fact that he's not qualified, it's literally him, because he could have done many great things. But again, it's a beta season, so I'm not like, okay, well, that's like completely done. I truly think that he will qualify for season 1 and even maybe get the title. He's one of the favorites, as we said, and he can definitely do it on season 1. So he just have to forget about what happened on those qualifications, no matter what happened, and move forward. There is many things that comes on the year with the Zerator Cup and other things. But yeah, I'm expecting him to come back on season 1 and show everybody that he's one of the best players on that game, and show that he can win that competition.
Yeah, talking about the Zerator Cup, I'm not sure if you have heard my idea. I guess you are quite busy these days, but I had this idea for, let's say, 2 years, that I want the Zerator Cup to be used more, and that we could have like the official World Championship the day before, so there's actually a weekend of Trackmania taking place at the Zerator Cup. You already have 6,000 people going there to watch the Zerator Cup, and now that we see Zerator himself moving away from Bren and Carl, you know that I like to draw conclusions. I made a tweet about the symbiotes with Go and Gamers Origin and all that. Now that I see Zerator not being part of Bren and Carl Jr., my head starts to think, okay, is this because he's going to have a part in the Champions League and don't want that to come with any confliction about him having players there? Are there any sort of ground for my thoughts here, or am I way off?
Well, it's a weird idea, weird conclusion.
Yeah, I'm weird sometimes, man.
I mean, he done what I will do probably in the next month or whatever. Even though I think I might not take the same choice. But obviously we got the fact that he's done that because he don't want people to say that he's helping his players more than the others. About the Champions League, no, it's not planned that he will take a part of it. He won't he's not on the list or anything. He's not working on it. And I think Zerator is like just doing his event, and I get the point. He just wants his event to succeed, and he's gonna work obviously on his Zerator Cup, and I don't see the point of him going onto the Champions League. If he wants to, well, that will be a great help. But again, I don't see the point for him to do that. He's already having the best Trackmania event of the year, helping the game so much with that event, more than anyone else. So he's already helping a lot. So I don't see why he will come up with the idea of coming on working on the Champions League.
And my idea about having playoffs at the day before the Zerator Cup, is that something you can manage? That will at least make it more logical for me to travel from Norway to France to watch 2 events instead of just 1 event.
I don't think it's literally not possible, and I don't think that would be a great thing. Trying kinda to use the Zerator Cup for another event. We have to and that's the plan of the Champions League. We have to work and to make esports great without him. He's not gonna stay he's not he does not have any parts in Trackmania, and we don't have to count on him to have to see Trackmania success. he already helped a lot. He woke up most of the community with his event, and as long as he's doing it, that's like I will be so happy to see the Retro Cup for the next 5 years. But again, he's not forced to do that. He's not working for Nadeo, so we don't have to count on him. If he wants, like next year, there won't be any Retro Cup. So we have to work on ourselves and get the things done ourselves, and don't count on Zerator retweets or exposure. He's doing his event, we are playing it, and that's the best event of the year. And but we can do something on our own.
Okay, so I guess now that we're talking about Zerator, I guess many people view that the maps are the way they are because of Zerator's impact. I guess we are going circles here and going back to the map question, but is there any reason or ground to that statement that the reason because the maps are like this is because Zerator is so big and because he has that amount of use, and that this can be a way to get that fan base in easier into the esports scene of Trackmania?
That's a question I saw a lot. People saying that we are doing those things because we think that we are just trying to copy what Zerator is doing. We have to agree, and I agree on that. Again, I'm not working for Nadeo. I'm someone external to that, and I don't have maybe the same reasoning as they have. But in my opinion, and for for most of people, Zerator Cup is working because it's Zerator. People are playing his maps because it's a Zerator map. He can put a start and a drift and a finish. People will play it and enjoy it because it's a Zerator map. Obviously, his mapping skills are getting way better over time, and seeing the last Zerator Cups, the maps are actually great to play. Not so bad compared to the first seasons, and I think like we didn't put those maps because we think that that's the best way, or trying to copy Zerator maps. We've done those maps because we actually think that there is a little part of the Zerator people watching the cup that rather see those kind of maps than the World Championship maps. And yeah, obviously, like the maps that were out for the first map pack are easier to understand for someone who's not watching Trackmania every single day, and they can play it. They can actually be a little bit good on them, and not like the. And you have to think as well as the tech maps are always the same. It's always the same technical thing. It's drift. Maybe sometimes you have jumps or create like fancy things, but at the end it's only about drift. And I don't think that seeing the same thing on the next 5 years for someone who's not used to Trackmania is a great idea. Someone who's new to Trackmania wants to see some new things and some diversity on the map, with like from drift to a dirt part, from a jump, from a downhill with holes and everything. So yeah, I truly think that those maps are the way to get those new viewers. We can improve them by a lot, but that's not like, it's not only because we are not like again stupid thinking that people enjoy the Zerator Cup because of the maps. They also enjoy it a lot because it's Zerator behind it.
I guess the last question about the Champions League itself. As I said before, every event of yours has been a success. People have sort of praised you and given you good feedback. Now you probably maybe worked harder than ever, or at least you're in the spotlight more than ever. How is it actually to work hard, use all the time, and then you see so many people going on this Discord channel. It's 1,000 messages within an hour. How is it to read those messages? And many of them are, let's say, they're not kind. They are kind of personal, maybe towards Silas in the first place, but I guess you also feel some of it. How is it to know that you put all the effort into it to try to make this game move forward, but the community seems to, just fuck this, I don't want to do this, let's just do something else?
Well, I was talking about that with Carl right before the podcast, and seeing the man versus man chat.
Yeah.
I mean, those people that are actually like doing those things were the people that were supporting me a lot during the Pro League and the World Cup, and it's hard. Even though you guys, or most of you guys, are saying that towards Hylis, I'm putting like literally a lot of time in that project, and I want it to succeed. I want like to have the community behind Nadeo and everyone working together to get the esport at its best. And I don't know how to say the feeling I have when I see like seeing the man versus man chat thing, like only about saying that the maps are shit. The maps. This is better than TMCL. Those maps are way better than TMCL. Those maps are way easier to understand than TMCL. Okay, well, we get it. You don't have like to say it like every single time. You don't have to banter Elise every single day. I mean, I don't get the point of literally. I don't get the point of people trying to be aggressive on Hylis and thinking that, okay, well, I'm insulting Hylis, that's the best way to make him react. You are just like literally, you are just winning this project, and we have a chance. We have a huge chance that we never had before of Ubisoft getting into Trackmania and investing money in it. And the only thing that I see is insults, memes, and shit talks about stupid things. And I'd rather had those people giving me or giving Nadeo actual constructive things and be positive, try to get the things done. Saying that maybe, well, you see, Hillis, we've watched the World Cup final, the man versus man final, and I think that those matches are actually interesting and more interesting than the things that you are doing with Champions League. And this is the reason why, and giving actual like great feedbacks than just saying like memeing that like and the like just the things I've watched and read in the man versus man chat, and seeing that it's coming from actual players that have been like supporting me or even playing the events that I organized the last 2 years. I mean, it's even if it's like towards Hillis and Nadeo, I'm taking it for me. And even though I'm not the one behind the project, I'm putting a lot of time in it, and I'm just saying, I'm just thinking, well. And I just realized, actually, I said that to Carl, I just realized today how the community has been with Nadeo for the last like 10 years. I get now why Nadeo has been like so negative about the community. Because like when you go, like Hillis is watching like probably 70% of the Trackmania streams, and when he goes on that, he only see people like criticizing his work. And then why would I if you will go back to my position, why would I put like 10 hours a day to work on a project for people that are just insulting the project itself all over the day? I mean, you have to get that there is people behind this project putting so much time to try to have Trackmania back at the top, and those people actually don't know you guys. And when they go on the stream and they see, or even Ubisoft, imagine Ubisoft going onto that chat, like I said earlier, imagine the reaction of Ubisoft. Why would you invest money on something where the community is just like saying negative things about everything? Every single thing has been criticized on the Pro League, on the World Cup, and I've got through those moments where everyone was against decision I've made, and it was hard, and now I'm getting used to it. But what happened on the Discord was not a problem at all. It was, like I said, it was bound to happen, and it happened. And the fact that we had a talk later with Hillis and some players was great, because we could have like talked in a calm way, and everyone has had something to say. Spam, Bren, Riolu shared their opinion about many things, but seeing that the Discord thing, which was like done two days ago, and which brought some new solutions. We said that it's a beta season, things would change. Don't stop to those maps, and seeing that you see the same things 2 days later with the same reason. I'm getting really demotivated to put time and to invest my time for those kind of players, and especially when it comes from players that I've known for more than 2 years now on the competitive scene. It feels really shit, and yeah, I mean, I'm trying my best, and I probably was the one who could have been the more like the more mad about what happened now with Champions League, because it's actually completely different, and maybe even like it's probably more bad than what was the Champions League, the Pro League and the World Cup. And I've literally put all my efforts, and I have always as well my studies on the side, but I always thought during those 2 years that Trackmania could be back, and I want to get Trackmania back, and I want Trackmania to succeed, and I'm not counting hours I'm putting on my projects, and I will continue to do that. But seeing those kind of comments, I'm like, do I actually want to like? I'm not putting my studies. I'm still studying a lot, and I'm putting a lot of time as well on my studies, but I'm putting much more time on the Champions League and the Pro League, the World Cup, and because I want to make those people happy, and I want to go forward, and I truly think that in 4 or 5 years we can have Trackmania where aside of Overwatch, League of Legends, and Counter-Strike, and everyone, but seeing those it's a small part of the community. I'm not saying that everyone is saying that, and there is many great people, and I've received actually like from people I don't even know, giving me feedbacks of like probably 10 pages of text, and those people I don't even know. Probably not part of the competitive scene. They actually gave like one feedback that is better than probably 10,000 comments from those people that are on the chats, or like memeing or saying useless things that will never get us at the top. So right now I'm just in the mood of saying that, okay, well, I will always remember. I mean, I'm not someone who I don't know how to say that word in English, but I do forget some mistakes done by some people. For example, when Dexter tried to qualify it, he came to me and said, "Am I actually banned? Still banned?" I was like, "Well, you are not. If you actually think that you can be motivated and you have time and everything to put on that competition, just go. And I know that you can do it, and I will be pleased to have you on a competition and prove me that you can actually be serious when you are part of competition." But when I see those comments, to be honest, I'm just like, I will never forget those people saying those things, because they've been so supportive during the last 2 years. And when you do a single mistake, or when you are not like going in their way, you see what their actual faces, and now I know. I will get used to it, and those people will never stop me to put time and invest my time on those events and where I feel it's needed. But you can keep doing that. You can keep insulting Champions League. You can keep insulting, if you want, Hylis and Nadeo, saying that they are not doing anything since 10 years. You can keep saying that tech is the future of esport. All the things we cannot force you to not say them, but you have to think more than about your own personal opinion, and say, okay, let's give them a chance. If it doesn't work, well, they will see that it's not working, and we'll come back to tech. I mean, if the beta does not work, we'll come back to tech, and that was the thing. That's something as well that Hylis told me. Well, if the Champions League does not work, we'll just do your project. And I was like, okay, well, let's try. Let's try for 1 year, something new, and see if it works. And I think everyone should be like that and say that, well, Nadeo does not want the game to die, and they want to actually see it back at the top. And why would you insult them, saying that it's shit? They are doing everything they are doing is wrong. I mean, there is a lot of great peoples there, and they actually, I can say, they actually see your reactions, and they see you guys insulting or being really negative about everything. And if you don't believe in the fact that they want to help the esport, at least try to believe on me, who has been trying for 2 years to. I started Pro League from nothing, and seeing that we got Paris Games Week back and the World Cup, World Championship back, and having a World Champion back on 2018. Just try to put your belief in myself. I'm not again forcing you on anything, but just let us try. Let us. That's the only thing I can say. To be honest, like seeing the man versus man chat some hours ago, it actually demotivated me a lot, and it's actually tilting a lot. But I cannot do anything about that, and I just hope to not see those type of comments in the next days or months or years. I hope that people will maybe give us a chance to on Champions League. I'm the first guy to want that, to see the Champions League being a huge esport event on the world and recognized and everything. And I truly think that what Nadeo is trying right now is maybe a way. It's not sure. It's risky. But again, if it doesn't work, we'll go back to tech and we'll go back to what we used to. And those type of comments does not help. It actually feels really bad. Even though I'm saying that it's two worlds, Hylis again, I'm taking them for me because I'm part of the project, and I'm taking those comments for myself, and I'm like, do I really want to work on that? Do I really want to invest my time on Trackmania? But again, luckily, we have like amazing community members that has been like again supportive so much. The players, the streamers, and everyone has been so supportive and saying that they still want to give us a chance. Well, it feels great, and now I'm getting used to it, and I kinda only take the positive comments. But again, if you think something is really bad, well, send Hylis something and send a feedback, a constructive one with like details. What is wrong? Why is it wrong? What could we be? What could we do? Something better. But saying that tech is better than TMCL, TMCL is shit. TMCL will never get esports of Trackmania at the top again. I mean, that's I cannot say anything to those people, to be honest. And again, it feels really weird to see those type of comments coming from actual great players that have been playing the game for many years, and it hurts to see those type of things. And yeah, I mean, I cannot say anything more than that. It's just sad to see.
Yeah, I was in fact in that chat and I was trying to answer people the questions they had about the man versus man. And at some point the chat tilted towards this sort of state that you talk about, the memes and such. Somebody asked, I don't understand it, what is going on? And I, as a guy who wants to help out, I actually explained, yeah, it's 1 versus 1, first to 7 on each map and then best of 3. And then it was sort of just a face plan. And then I guess, I understood that, okay, this guy was actually just trying to meme around, being that, this is back to the statement that Trackmania is hard to understand, so, yeah,
that's
it doesn't move anything forward, right?
Yeah. I just want to say that I know I'm the one behind the World Cup, I'm the one behind the Pro League. I've been watching matches since 3 years, and matches that have been insane. When I see the World Championship final, this has been maybe the greatest moment I've ever had on Trackmania. This has been the best match of all time, and I know that tech is not boring. It's not hard to understand. It's great, but we have to try something new. Like we know that we know that it's not. Like we don't say that tech is horrible. That tech is like not the way to go. I know everything, and Heidi's does as well. And saying that, like pretending the fact that we don't know, and saying that those matches are what new people want to watch. That's wrong. You cannot talk at their place. If they don't want to watch those kind of things, they don't want. And maybe the Champions League is what they want to watch. Maybe not, and maybe we'll just go back to tech and go back to what I've been used to the last 2 years, and maybe that's the solution. But we cannot know without trying, and just have to get that. I cannot say anything more than that. Just let's try. Let's give it a shot. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I believe you're actually brave in actually trying this, because you have built up this reputation as this tech guy. And I said to myself, ever since the day I said that I didn't believe that you could go up against ESL as a team tournament, and then you did it and actually took the place of that event, then I said, this guy knows what he's doing. I will believe until otherwise is proven. I still believe that. Of course, I probably been one of those critical guys, but I believe there's a difference between being critical and being sort of useless comments and just being mean and personal. So me, myself, I'm more positive than negative, but I also have questions that I think is reasonable with something new. But I at least want to see the beta season before actually answering. Many people have asked me, what do you think about this? Is this the future of it? And I said, I've seen too little about it, but what I've seen, sure, there are some questions, but the main thing that we should think about here is that actually we have, for the first time, I believe, at least in my career in Trackmania, we have the developer speaking with a community person, and in fact the fact shows that this community person, that is you, is being voted as the community person 2 times in a row. So certainly a guy that community believes in is moving the game in the right directions. So I'm not sure why people are so, I don't know if they, like you said, if they don't believe in Adeo because the history they have personally with them, or they have just seen the memes, or what this is, then at least they should believe in the guy that brought the Trackmania back to Paris Games Week, and they refer to as the greatest match ever. I'm not saying this because just you're here, I said it to people in person as well. I believe in you, and I believe that we should see this out. If the beta season is going garbage, I believe you are one of the guys who will probably see it and then drop it and then move on to something else.
I'll be the first one. If I don't like watching the Champions League, and I don't enjoy what Champions League is doing, or the way they are going to, I'll be the first one to drop, because I would feel that that's not the way I want to go, and that's not the way I think. And if it's actually really shit or garbage, as you say, I'll be the first one to say, okay, well, I'm done with that, and I'm gonna try again to like I've done it every time. Maybe take the World Championship back or something else. But I'm just, as well, myself, I'm giving them a chance, and I want to see what it does and how it will it will be. Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna be as everyone else and just leave the boat.
Softy, I didn't believe that this would actually happen. I said that the record you set in 2018 would stand for a long time, and guess what? The next time you are on, you actually beat the record. But I still feel, is there anything we have left to talk about? Because for now, 1 hour and 40 minutes, we have talked about one subject. Is there anything else you want to highlight in Trackmania that is going on at the moment that you feel is important for the community to see, instead of just having the focus and the hot topic Trackmania Champions League at the moment?
I mean, obviously, I always have many things to say, and everyone knows that. I've had a discussion with the French viewers of Cyrimix, and the discussion was like 3 hours long. I enjoy to have those type of discussions, and Hailis does too, and Nadeo does too, and that's something we will do more often. Get some players, some people of the community, and have a talk with them. And I think that's something that has been lacking from them, the communication, and we all do agree on that. But it's going the right way. They start to listen to the community and the players, and that's great. About anything else about Trackmania, I don't think there's something else to talk about right now. I'm gonna be I'm probably having different talks with different people on the next days. If they have any special questions or anything, I'm willing to answer to them, as long as it's actually respectful. But yeah, I mean, the Trackmania is an amazing game. We are all here for the passion of the game. We all love that game, and I want to see that fucking game at the top. I want to see hundreds of people watching great matches of Trackmania, having professional players, having actual casters who can live from that. I mean, I'm literally gonna give everything on the next years to see that happen, and everyone should get that, and we should work together to get that done. And we can only do that if both ways are respectful and wants to go forward. For now, I only see Nadeo trying to be more on the communication and listen more to the players. But on the other part, on the community part, I see great comments and great constructive feedbacks. But I also see what I've seen on the chat or some people on the Discord. So, I mean, even though you don't believe in it, or you don't think that's the right way, just let us try. Don't let the people try, and that's it. I mean, we are all here to play that amazing game, and I will always give my time to that. And yeah, I mean, this is Trackmania, and it has been alive for 15 years, and it will work for the 15 next years. It just depends on if everyone is willing to help and to be in the positive mindset for that. So yeah, I mean, it has been a great discussion with you, and I probably have many other things to say, but for now we just have to wait the step one, see how it goes, and then maybe we can give some conclusions about the Champions League. And yeah, that's the point. We will have a debrief after each steps to say what is wrong, what is good, and maybe we'll do that. Like, we'll probably do that with the community, and I open probably a channel on the Discord and say, okay, well, we got the step one. Well, what do you have to say about step one? What can we do better? And as long as it's respectful and positive. Well, not positive on the fact that you have to say everything was great, but positive as long as saying, well, that wasn't great. And I truly think that if we do that, that will help the competition and that will help Trackmania. Well, we'll gladly take it and apply it to the competition. So yeah, you are part of that Champions League, and Champions League is finally something where we can get Ubisoft involved, and we don't have to miss it. If we miss that, that's the end, to be honest. So you have to understand that, and that's why I'm believing so much in that project. And I truly hope that we can get it. And if we get it, well, you don't even imagine what will be the next years on Trackmania, at least on eSport.
softyB, you know how much I love to talk about Trackmania and certainly about yourself, and I'm happy that you actually reached out this time to give me the opportunity to get some clarification and to maybe have a platform for the community to get some answers to their questions. You know I have respect for you and the work you do, so as the last time when you broke the record and now you break the record again, you have the last word. Give shout out to those who you want to give shout out to. Say what you want. The stage is yours, sort of thing.
I mean, obviously, well, I want to thank you first. You are not getting enough of credits. Your work is amazing, and the fact that we have someone like you being kind of the journalist of Trackmania is actually really important, and I mean it. So everything you are doing right now and you've been doing since the start is amazing, and I truly hope that you can be part of the Champions League in the next season or even in the beta. So thank you first, and thank you to kinda get the opinions from all part of the community. Thanks to Nadeo obviously for what they are doing right now, and yeah, thanks to the community as well, who has been supporting me, the projects, and Trackmania for so many years. And if I have something to say, just this is not the right time to be negative. This is the time to be positive. And if we all are positive, again, like the next years, the next even months will be amazing for everyone. And yeah, that's everything I have to say. And yeah, again, thank you to for listening to me for so many times. It might be hard sometimes, but
I'm sure not the last one. I guess we can do one more after the beta season is over, and it will probably be 2 hours. So
I'll try to get to the 2 hours done.
Thank you so much, man, and enjoy the rest of the weekend and the rest of the season. I can only wish you good luck.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.